Yesterday, the review embargo lifted on Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, the highest score of his career. And 5 days ago, I went on record saying that this movie would fail the story. I'm not backing down. I'm keeping it to the two things that matter most: who's in this movie and what Nolan did to Homer. Let's start with the elephant in the room. This is a Greek epic without any Greeks. Damon, Holland, Hathaway, Pattinson, Zendaya, Theron, a murderer's row of A-listers. And The Guardian itself asked the question out loud: where are the Greek actors? And before anyone says Hollywood has always done this, you're right, it has. Troy did it. Both versions of Clash of the Titans did it. But those movies came before the industry spent a decade lecturing us that representation matters, that who tells the story is part of the story. I actually think there's some truth to that idea, which is exactly why the silence now is deafening. Apparently that rule expires at the Aegean Sea, and the selective principles get worse. John Leguizamo is in this film, the same actor who publicly campaigned against non-Latino actors taking Latino roles, who boycotted award shows over representation, takes a paycheck in ancient Greece without blinking. He had a principle. Where did it go? Because a principle that evaporates the moment Christopher Nolan calls isn't a principle. It's a negotiating position. Then the choices get stranger. Lupita Nyong'o isn't just playing Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships. She's double cast as Helen's sister, one actress covering two of the most famous women in mythology. Travis Scott, a rapper with almost no acting credits, plays a bard. And Elliot Page, who stands 5'1", plays Sinon, a soldier of the Trojan War. Crime Fiction already ran this experiment. When 5'7" Tom Cruise was cast as Jack Reacher, a character built as 6'5" and menace. The fans revolted so hard the franchise eventually rebooted. And it didn't matter that his movies were competent. The audience's mental picture of a character is part of the story. And casting against it has a price you pay in every scene. But here's the detail that tops it, straight from the early coverage. According to Film Threat, Odysseus visits Sinon in Hades and calls him the greatest soldier he has ever known. And no review describes him fighting even once. Told, never earned. That's the oldest writing sin in the book, sitting in a $250 million script. If I put that line in one of my manuscripts without a scene to back it, any decent editor would bleed red ink all over the page. Apparently nobody bleeds on Nolan's pages anymore. Here's what most of the coverage buries. Sinon isn't even in the Odyssey. At all. He's imported from a different poem from a different author written 7 centuries later. And according to the leaked cast list, you know who is completely missing from this adaptation? Achilles, the greatest warrior in Greek literature, cut, while an imported liar reportedly stands in his structural place in the underworld and inherits his superlative. It doesn't stop there. Per the same cast list, the gods are essentially gone. Athena appears to be the only Olympian in the film. No Poseidon, an adaptation of the Odyssey without Poseidon, the god whose grudge is the engine of the entire story. Odysseus blinds the Cyclops. Poseidon takes it personally, and every storm and shipwreck after that is his wrath. That's not mythological decoration. That's the story's spine. Actions have consequences, and pride invites the sea itself to answer. Cut the gods, and you've cut the antagonist and the meaning in one stroke. And what's left is a man having 10 years of bad weather. If you want the channel that says this stuff out loud with receipts, hit like and subscribe to Fireside Writer. Now, what he did to The Voice. Even the reviewers celebrating his movie take issue with the approach. The LA Times noted that Nolan cut and rejiggers Homer, and the critics flagged the script's anachronistic modern dialogue inside their own rave reviews. Look, adaptation requires choices. I've said that on this channel many times, and I defend 100 hard calls that an adaptation has to make. But there's a line between adapting a story and writing your own while wearing the original as a skin suit. When you cut the antagonist, cut the most famous warrior, import a character from a different poem, and rewrite the voice into modern American, at some point, you didn't adapt the Odyssey. You bought the title. I was going to see this opening weekend, and now I'm wondering if it's worth it. I thought Nolan was different. but he seems to be just another Hollywood director like everybody else. But if and when I see it, I'll let you know. I'll give my review here in full because that's the deal on this channel. But a launch week wave doesn't get to overrule Homer, and it won't overrule my own eyes. Tell me in the comments, is this an adaptation or is this a $250 million brand purchase? So until next time, go write something, and I'll see you by the fire.